What's going on, guys? Welcome back to F1 2021, my team career mode for Season 2, Round 20, the finale of Season 2, the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. So lots of activities we can do here, and I think we actually managed to get every single activity in, so I might as well do them all. Lots of space between these two final races, so I just have a look here. Yeah, I've got all this room to play with, so I didn't really want to do the top one, this last one that I'm doing, but I decided to do it anyway because I've got the time. It makes negative effects on some of the facilities, but oh well, we'll just go ahead with it. We're also going to put a fabrication upgrade on the aerodynamics because I've been kind of pushing off doing the facility stuff because I'm trying to save up money to get a good driver for next season, but we do have a little bit of money spare to do that. And then looking here, Ferrari are actually the top team now going into the final race here. So can Ferrari, I mean, they've been doing really well the last couple of races. They've actually had pole position on a few races, but then have pretty much every single time had it knocked back because of grid penalties. So let's see if Ferrari can finally win a race here, because let's just remember, well, 39 races so far. It will be 40 including this one, but 39 races so far, and Ferrari are yet to win a race in this career mode. So really would like to see them win here. This track for me, well, I ended up struggling massively here. I don't remember how this one went for me last season. I don't think I struggled as much as I did here, but this time on quali pace, I was struggling massively. Alonso up there in 5th. We're down in 15th place out of Q1. We do get through to Q2, but yeah, my pace here is just pretty bad. And to be honest, I'm actually, and I actually don't think I showed you the setup of the car this time because I don't think the setup was good what I went for here. Basically, I've been, for the last few races, I'd say for probably the last 9 or 10 races, I've been using the kind of top time trial setup, or one of the top time trial setups that, you know, people do. And I don't really know if that's been working out for me, so I think I'm going to go back to how I used to do it, where I was getting setups off of YouTube, I think it was TRL Limitless was the YouTuber I was getting it from, excuse me. I think I'm going to go back to doing that next season because some of these setups have been good, other ones I don't really think they are. And also I'm probably going to change the AI difficulty a little bit, maybe turn it down a bit going into next season, because I mean, it's annoying because race pace, I'm pretty much there with what I need, where I need to be, but quali pace, I am massively off the pace. So gonna need to really change that for next season if we want some good close racing, and just generally, you know, I should be getting into Q3 quite easily. And I mean, you're seeing this whole lap here in Q2 because I don't make it out of Q2, unfortunately, this time out. And it's the case for a lot of the races towards the end of the season when, you know, we've had one of the top 2 cars on paper, but haven't been able to make it through to Q3 just because my quali pace is so bad. But then we come to the race and my race pace is fine. So, it's a little bit frustrating. I'm a bit worried that turning the AI difficulty as we go very wide out of the final corner, I'm worried that changing the AI difficulty is going to mean that we're perhaps a bit too quick in the race compared to what we should be, but we'll figure that out next season. Hopefully things will be a little bit more balanced. But yeah, I end up going out in Q2 here, P13, so a little bit of improvement from Q1, but still not very good. We've definitely got some work to do in the race. So let's see how this final race of the season goes for us.
So here we are, ready to go racing for one final time this year. Another season of victories, controversies and rivalries lies in our wake. And just one challenge remains here in the United Arab Emirates on a circuit that made its spectacular debut back in 2009. Welcome to the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, the Yas Marina circuit, just over 3.4 miles long with 21 corners and 2 very long back straights. There are 2 DRS zones going into the heavy braking zones of both turn 8 and turn 11 and offer plenty of potential for overtaking. The circuit comes with its fair share of tricky corners as well, in particular 15, 16 and 17, which will certainly test a driver's braking management. It's race day yet again, and joining me for a chat, Anthony Davidson. And our racers are certainly in for a rough day today. What will you be watching for as they go down into turn 1?
Well, the start of the race is always one of the most nerve-wracking parts. You have to hope that everyone is able to get off to a clean start, and this is possibly the trickiest part of the entire race. So many drivers in such a small space, and finding your braking point into turn 1 as well. It's a testament to the driver's skill that there aren't more incidents.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday puts him on pole, and Lando Norris lines up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Ricciardo, Perez, Fernando Alonso and Hamilton, Giovinazzi, Ocon, Shaw and Valtteri Bottas. Verstappen, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Gasly, Carlos Sainz and Lundgaard, they've taken a grid penalty. Stroll, Raikkonen, Yuki Tsunoda and Sebastian Vettel. Russell, Mazepin, Mick Schumacher, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. And Nicholas Latifi. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Alright, so here we go to 5 red lights for the final time of Season 2 at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, and it's lights out and away we go. We get a alright initial getaway, but then it's not a great secondary getaway, and Valtteri Bottas in the Williams managed to get up the inside us and pass, and he's now actually fighting with Giovinazzi in the Mercedes. That Williams is a decent car now. It's well into the midfield as we continue through here. This is a section that I really seem to struggle with, just can't carry the speed through that part, but then we come through the chicane, which I feel like I am relatively quick, especially here when everybody's so bunched up. We get very close to the back of Giovinazzi's rear wing, but we're tucked up behind him right now in P10. Ended up starting P9 because of some grid penalties for other drivers, but we have lost a place at the start to Valtteri Bottas, and now we've got, I believe, who is that behind us? I think that is Pierre Gasly in the AlphaTauri pressurizing us behind. We get very close once again. There might have been a slight tap on the rear of Giovinazzi's car that time around as we were just trying to make sure we didn't outbrake ourselves, but managed to make sure that Gasly wasn't going to get past us. But now we are right up the back of Antonio Giovinazzi, and we're going for a little bit of a move around the outside. He jumps over the curb. We just keep our foot in and get through that nice little chicane section there. I do actually quite like that section. You can really throw your car in there and get a good overtake done, and that's what's happened. So we're past Giovinazzi. We're now up into P9. We've got Valtteri Bottas up ahead of us, who is doing a phenomenal job in that Williams. I mean, it is the kind of in the midfield pack, it's actually kind of like the second best midfield car. I think it's like seventh best car altogether. So the Williams really is not that bad, but they still haven't scored any points this season. Bottas though currently running in P8 and doing a pretty decent job, let me just say. So could this be Williams' first point score at the start of the season? I mean, if they carry this form into next season, I think they'll definitely be scoring points next season. I mean, there's no regulation change going into next season either, so the grid is not really going to shake up a whole lot, I don't imagine, at the start. So, yeah, Williams looking good, and they're still looking good because Bottas is honestly kind of pulling away from me at this point. I'm really struggling at this track. Just my pace here is terrible, and I really don't know why, as we go a bit too deep into the hairpin, and Giovinazzi's having a little bit of a sniff up the inside, but can't quite do anything at the moment. We're actually going to change strategy a little bit there. I think we were originally doing soft to mediums. We're now going 2 softs to a set of mediums, as Giovinazzi's now having a look around the outside into the next corner off the straight, but we're going to keep ourselves there and make sure we keep the position, get a good run through the chicane and out onto the next straight and DRS section, and keep the ERS planted. At the front of the grid, well, it is Charles Leclerc. He started on pole position from Lando Norris alongside, and is just about keeping that in front, and is actually maybe pulling out a little bit of a gap on the McLarens behind. He's doing a very good job here. The 2 McLarens of Norris and Ricciardo respectively. I think actually Ricciardo might be ahead. Yeah, I think Ricciardo's actually managed to jump Norris off the start, is in second place here. So yeah, it's looking good for Leclerc at the moment in that Ferrari. He seems to have very good pace here, and is perhaps pulling away from the McLarens a little bit at the start of this race. So interesting to see what he can do here. As we continue on with our point of view, we're still trying to fend off Giovinazzi, because through the corners I just do not have the pace at all at this track. I really don't know why my pace is so awful, but we're somewhat staying with Bottas, but we really shouldn't be. We should be catching him quite considerably, and Giovinazzi is putting up quite a bit of pressure. However, We are getting a bit of a gap to Gasly, who is behind. However, now a few cars come into the pits, and Carlos Sainz would be the next car behind me. He's still a fair way back at the moment, but we know the Ferraris are quick here. Leclerc at the front at the moment, so and they are the quickest car on paper, just about. So yeah, I think Sainz is going to be coming at us pretty damn quickly, and Leclerc is actually behind him. Fastest lap of the Grand Prix, he's come in for his first pit stop. And then on lap 9, we come in for our first pit stop onto our second set of soft tyres. I really don't know if this was 100% the strategy to go with. Maybe we would have been better going on to 2 mediums, because I really don't feel like I'm driving that well on the softs. Maybe I'll drive better on the mediums. Sometimes you find that just, you know, the mediums are actually a better race tyre for you, and just you get into a bit more of a groove with them than you can with the soft tyres. But this is a strategy that our team's decided that we should go for, so it's what I'm going to go with. As we now catch up to the back of George Russell, I don't think he's come into the pit yet, started on a set of mediums, and we should be getting past him relatively easily. We've got softs, he's on mediums. Our pace here is pretty poor, but we will just about manage to pull alongside him and go into the next corner. We go very late on the brakes. Once again, we can just squeeze the throttle and get past him. Yeah, very late on the brakes into that one, that's for sure. But we've get the move done on George Russell, and we will pull away from him at least. So, I mean, that's a positive, I guess. I think he comes into the pits a couple of laps later, though. As now, Giovinazzi's actually back ahead of us, so I think he got the undercut done on us. It just shows how much more pace these guys have. He's on the medium tyres, so is Bottas up ahead, and I've got Carlos Sainz now behind me, also on the medium tyres, so I'm strictly speaking on the fastest tyres here, but my pace just isn't good. But Giovinazzi, he's gone for a move on Valtteri Bottas up ahead. They're too wide. I make sure to not get too close to him because I don't really want to get too caught up. But now we get a good run off the corner. We're alongside Valtteri Bottas, and now we're going to get the DRS. Giovinazzi doesn't have DRS. We're going to go 3 wide through this straight here to the next corner. I'm giving them a very wide berth, but I'm going to once again make sure I can lay this brake as late as I can, and we actually kind of get 2 cars in one corner off one straight there, and we're up into P8. So we've managed to get past Bottas and undercut ourselves from undo the undercut that Giovinazzi did on us. As we now have a look at Fernando Alonso on lap 12, he's got Lewis Hamilton behind him, who's coming up lickety-split on him. Hamilton on the softs, Fernando Alonso on the medium tyres, as they go side by side through the chicane and then onto the next back straight here. And I'm not sure who. I think Alonso has got the DRS, so he's just about going to be able to pull out ahead of the world champion from this season. He's already won the championship, but Fernando Alonso manages to keep that position for now. Very good racing by these two. And we continue on with our race, and we are doing okay now. We've got quite a big gap to Sainz, because I think he might have... No, he's not. I don't know why Sainz has fallen back so much, but Sainz is a fair way back again now. I swear he was right behind us before, but for whatever reason, he's now way behind, and we're just kind of on our own right now. Ocon is a long way up the road in P7, and yeah, we're not looking like we're going to catch him. And as you can see, a few laps later, Sainz has caught up to us. We're on the softs, he's on the mediums, but Sainz has managed to catch us quite quickly here, and that just shows how poor my pace is. I mean, my tyres are going off by this point. I'm actually coming in to change on this lap, but yeah, the speed difference should not be that much. And this time, going down the kind of back middle straight, whatever you want to call it here, Sainz has the DRS. I'm kind of weaving around a little bit, trying to make sure he doesn't get as much slipstream as or too much slipstream, but he has managed to get the move done. But I'm not too worried at the moment, because I can come get a good run off this corner, stay behind him, get the slipstream, and then get the DRS for the second DRS zone. And now we're going to have the overspeed, we're going to have the speed on the Ferrari, and we're going to go for a move into the next corner, but he's still alongside. We go side by side, but he jumps over the curb, and we just about manage to keep that position once again. And yeah, I think this is going to be quite a big fight with Sainz, because it's so difficult for him to get me through the corners, to overtake me through the corners. He is so much quicker through the corners though. His chances to overtake are on that straight, but he'll get me on that first straight, and then I'm hoping that I'm just going to be able to keep coming back at him in the second straight, and we can just kind of keep this battle going. Charles Leclerc Well, things haven't gone so well for him here. He's been undercut in the pits, so the two McLarens came in quite a lot earlier, and Norris has actually, I think, managed to undercut... Norris has managed to undercut Ricciardo and has also undercut Leclerc. So it's now Norris leading from Leclerc, from Ricciardo in third, and it's quite a big gap back to Sergio Perez, who is in fourth place. So top three really close, but after that, pretty much a big gap, no real chance for Perez as we come in for our second pit stop onto a set of medium tyres. So it'll be interesting to see what these tyres will be like. I wasn't massively happy with the softs, so let's see what the mediums are like, I guess. Can't be any worse than how we were doing before, surely. And as we come in the next lap round, Sainz has come in for his pit stop, so we come in one lap earlier, so hopefully undercuts him. He's going for a soft to medium strategy, so he's also on a set of medium tyres here. So now we've got the fair tyre game. We come out quite a bit ahead of him. There's a brief glimpse at a yellow flag behind me, not sure what that was about, but yeah, it's going to be interesting, this battle with Sainz. If it's anything to go by, you know, he was honestly quicker than us on mediums than we were on softs, then us both on mediums, we could be in a bit of trouble. But we look back at the leaders once again, and it's still Norris leading the way, but Leclerc is still right there, and Ricciardo there as well. A great battle for third. I think you can just about see Perez in the background just off one of those shots there, but he is still a fair way back, and these guys, these leaders are now actually coming to overtake. I believe that is Nicholas Latifi and one of the Hasses of, I think that was Nikita Mazepin at the back of the field. So they're trying to make their way through those guys. As we continue on here, like I said, Sainz has managed to catch up to the back of us, and now he's going to have the DRS coming through this section here, but we just use as much ERS as we can. We can really deploy that quite a lot, and he's not quite got an answer for it on this lap, and we're just going to try and keep this going. And actually, to be honest, my pace on the mediums was better than my pace on the softs. I think that, sorry about that, I think there wasn't a fade between that clip there. Sorry about that. That's a bit annoying. I've only just realised that now, but I'm not going to re-record this to put a fade in there, and if I do put a fade in there afterwards, it's not going to be in time properly, so we're just going to kind of leave it. We overtook Tsunoda, who's not having a good race. We overtook him blue flags because he's had to come in for a front wing, and he's now right down the back of the grid. But here's Carlos Sainz going for a move once again on us down this straight. We once again managed to keep him there. We go on the brakes very late into that corner, which means that he is going to have a compromised run down here, but he's still very close and a bit too close for us this time. With him with the DRS, he's going around the outside, and I'll try and get up the inside and brake late into the next corner, but I can't quite get alongside. I'm not going to risk my front wing, and Sainz has unfortunately managed to get past us. It's lap 26 of 28, so only 2 more laps to go after this. So now I'm just praying. I've got to just try and stay close to him through here, be there within a second when we get to the next DRS zone, which I am, and then try and get past him again. We're not quite close enough to do it on the front straight here, but honestly that doesn't really bother me because we've got this second option here, and at least we do it here, he's got less of a chance to come back at me, and we're just going to absolutely dump as much ERS as we can. DRS deployed in the slipstream. He's going defensive. We're going around the outside. We go purple in the middle sector, so obviously I'll speed through there with the slipstream, the DRS, and just absolutely draining our battery is giving us good pace in that part of the track, but it's this final part that is quite difficult. But lap 27 of 28, we've managed to get past him. We've still got to fend him off for one more lap. And at the front, it is still super duper close. Lando Norris from Charles Leclerc, from Daniel Ricciardo. It's really, really close here. Lando Norris really has not put a foot wrong, and neither have the other two drivers. Really unfortunate for Charles Leclerc. He was looking quite good to win this race, and I think in some ways Leclerc was actually quickest in this race. Don't think he'd get fastest lap in the end, because I think somebody who further down the order who had to come in for a front wing change ended up getting the fastest lap. But Leclerc, I think, was the quicker car on track, but unfortunately for him, Lando Norris undercut him, and Lando Norris will go on to win the final race of Season 2, with Leclerc in second, still not a win for Ferrari yet, and Daniel Ricciardo third, making it another double podium for McLaren, which will also secure them the Constructors Championship. We finish P8. We just about managed to fend off Carlos Sainz in that final lap. it was honestly a decent enough battle with Sainz. It was a fun little battle, but on pace purely, we were really just holding him up, and our pace wasn't here today.
That's it then. They've taken the win here as we wrap up another fantastic Formula One season. Talk to me, Ant. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
Well, this was a real team victory. They put together a solid strategy today that appeared well suited to the conditions out on track. The driver did everything that was expected of them in the moment to really execute the team's plan to perfection, a shining example of how F1 really is a team sport.
Our winning drivers are on their way to the podium right now. It's been a fantastic race for McLaren, that's for sure, and no doubt they'll be celebrating tonight.
So there we go, Lando Norris wins the final race of 2022, Season 2, the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc comes home in second place for Ferrari, just missing out on the first win for Ferrari in this career mode. And Daniel Ricciardo comes home P3. These three were really close on track. A bit unfortunate they didn't have a massive battle, just the nature of this track. You don't get a whole lot of battles in action, but it was at least close to those top three. Perez in 4th, Hamilton 5th, Alonso came home P6 with myself in P8, just about beating Sainz P9. It was Ocon P7. We end up keeping P6 in the Drivers' Championship. Alonso ends up P10 in the end. Leclerc moving up to 7th in this final race, but your top 5 would be Hamilton, Norris, Ricciardo, Perez, and Verstappen. So very good stuff from McLaren. Really good race for them. Esteban Ocon moves up to 13 after a good result in P7 for Alpine. So yeah, really good stuff from McLaren, and actually that will win McLaren the Constructors' Championship. Going into this race, it was a battle between McLaren, Mercedes, and Red Bull for the Constructors' Championship, and McLaren came home victorious. They've had a great season. I'm hoping that next season maybe they can have a bit of a fight for the Drivers' Championship as well, and hopefully we'll be in there for a chance at that as well. But that's it for this video. That is it for Season 2 of my team career mode in F1 2021. Thank you guys very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please go ahead, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.